Hello students, in this lecture I am going to explain a concept called as meristematic tissue in plant anatomy. First of all, what is meant by tissue? Tissue is a group of cells which may be similar or dissimilar in their shape, but they are having common origin and perform a common function. So the main criteria for the tissue is they must have a common origin and they must perform a common function. And here this tissue, the term tissue was first coined by Nehemiah Grieve, and later Nageli. He classified tissues into two categories. First one is meristematic tissue and the second one is permanent tissue. In this lecture, I am going to explain the structure and the types of meristematic tissue. First of all, the meristematic tissue, if you take this meristematic tissue, the term meristem, generally it is obtained from a Greek word called as meristos, which means to divide. So here the meristematic tissue means it is an undifferentiated tissue that has a capacity of cell division, that is called as meristematic tissue. And this meristematic tissue have certain characteristic features that includes, these two characters are already included in this definition. One is it is undifferentiated cells and they are having the capacity of cell division. They can divide throughout the life cycle of the plant body. Whereas the other characteristic features, if you take, meristematic tissues are generally isodiametric or polygonal in shape, and these cells, they are having dense cytoplasm and prominent nucleus. For example, if you take, they are generally having polygonal in shape. It is having a prominent nucleus and as well as it has dense cytoplasm in it. And the next characteristic feature, here the cell wall is primary wall. Generally, cell wall is categorized into different types: primary wall, secondary wall, tertiary wall, etc. Here it has only primary wall, which is very thin and flexible, and it is mainly made up of cellulose and pectin. That too, mainly it has more amount of cellulose. And here cells are very compactly arranged without any intercellular spaces. Like this, you can see cells are very compactly arranged without any intercellular spaces. This is one of the important characteristic feature of meristematic tissue. And these meristematic tissue also have certain other characteristic features. Even though there is no secondary wall is absent, but there are more plasmodesmatal connections. As you know, these plasmodesmatal connections through which cytoplasmic strands of adjacent cells communicate with each other. And as I said earlier, secondary wall, and along with the secondary wall, plastids and vacuoles are absent. So these are the components which are present, but secondary wall, plastids and vacuoles are absent. Along with this, if plastids are present, they might be present in certain proplastidal stage, but mature plastids are absent. And even if vacuoles are present, they are very small, but large vacuoles are absent. And here cell is metabolically very active, but endoplasmic reticulum, EPR means the endoplasmic reticulum, is poorly developed, but it has abundant amount of lysosomes and as well as mitochondria. Whereas the next characteristic feature includes ergastic substances. That means the non-living components are generally absent. And this meristematic tissue, they can give stress to two types of cell after division. They can give stress to initiating cells or cell initials, or they may be give stress to derivatives. These initiating cells, they retain the meristematic activity. They retain meristematic activity throughout their life cycle, throughout the life cycle of plant. Whereas the derivatives are the cells which are derived from the meristematic tissue, and these derivatives may be developed into permanent tissue after differentiation. So these are the Characteristic features of meristematic cells or meristematic tissue. And next, if we take the types of meristematic tissue, the meristematic tissue is classified into different types based on different criteria. Like for example, based on origin, based on position of the meristem, based on function, and based on plane of cell division. On these different criteria, the meristematic tissue is classified into different types. First of all, if we take based on origin, the meristematic tissue is classified into three different types. One is primordial meristem or promeristem, whereas the second one is the primary meristem, and the third type is the secondary meristem. Here this primordial or promeristem, it is generally formed during embryonic condition, which means this meristem we could see in the embryo. And this primordial meristem, it results in the formation of primary meristem. So example for the primordial meristem is the embryonic meristem. Whereas this primary meristem, it is the first formed meristem during the life cycle of the plant body. And this meristem, it is responsible for the primary growth of the plant. Primary growth means which is helpful in the increasing in the length of the plant axis, that is height of the plant axis. And this primary meristem, it generally retain its meristematic activity throughout its life cycle. And the primary meristem, it also differentiate to give rise to primary permanent tissues. An example for primary meristem, it includes shoot apical meristem, SAM, root apical meristem, RAM, and it also includes a type of a lateral meristem like intravesicular cambium. This intravesicular cambium, it is also called as vesicular vascular cambium. Whereas the third type of the meristem based on origin is the secondary meristem. Secondary meristem generally appear during the later stages of the plant body, and this secondary meristem is generally formed from the permanent tissue by a process called as dedifferentiation. And this secondary meristem is responsible for the secondary growth of the plant body. That means this meristem helps to increase the girth of the plant body. An example for this secondary meristem includes intervesicular cambium, cork cambium of both stem and root, dicot stem and dicot root, whereas vascular cambium of complete vascular cambium of dicot root. You have to remember secondary meristem is more common and it is generally present only in dicots. So it includes intervesicular cambium, cork cambium of both dicot stem and dicot root, and as well as the complete vascular cambium of dicot root is secondary in origin. But the dicot stem, the complete vascular cambium is not secondary. Only a part of vascular cambium called as intervesicular cambium is secondary in origin, whereas the intravesicular cambium is the primary meristem, it is primary in origin. And one more point, the cork cambium, whether it may be dicot, maybe in dicot, or it may be in monocot, the cork cambium is always secondary in origin. This is about types of meristem based on origin. And the second criteria, types of meristem based on position in the plant body. Apical meristem, intercalary meristem, and lateral meristem. First of all, the apical meristem, as name itself indicate, the apical meristem present in the apex of the plant axis, such as shoot apex and root apex. So for this example is, again we can say easily shoot apical meristem and root apical meristem are the examples for this apical meristem. If you take these diagrammatic sectional views, this one is the diagrammatic sectional view, that is longitudinal sectional view of shoot apex that showing different regions. So in this diagram you can see the small primitive leaves which are called as leaf primordia. This leaf primordia is generally, it protects the shoot apical meristem which is found here in this region at this point. So this area, it consists of this shoot apical meristem. It is protected by leaf primordia. And during elongation of the plant axis, during the growth and as well as during the formation of leaf, some amount of shoot apical meristem left behind in the axil. This meristem is called, this structure is called axillary bud. This structure is called axillary bud. It is also meristem. This is how the shoot apical meristem is positioned in the plant body. When we take the second type of apical meristem, that is RAM, root apical meristem. This is the longitudinal sectional view, that is the diagrammatic representation of root apical meristem. This one is the root apex. This root apex, it shows different regions, like this is the central cylinder, which means it has the vascular tissue like xylem and phloem. And this central cylinder is surrounded by, means to its peripheral region, it has cortex. This one is the cortex. In the tip of the cortex of root apex, you could see root apical meristem. So here, this area is the root apical meristem. And the root apical meristem, it has many initials. Like you can see here, it has initials to the central cylinder, means this tissue, this meristem gives us to central cylinder. Whereas if you take this region of the root apical meristem, this area, it can divide to give rise to the cortex, means these are the initials of central cylinder and these are the initials of cortex, right? And this cortex is again peripherally surrounded by the protoderm, surrounded by protoderm. So this region is the protoderm, right? And this one is the root cap which protect the root apical meristem. This is the root cap. This is how the apical meristem look. And next, the second type of meristem based on position is intercalary meristem. As name itself indicate, the intercalary meristem is present in between the masses of permanent tissue in the plant axis. Like you can see, this area is the node and this is the internode. Node is the region where leaf arises. So it is the node. It is the internode. At the base of internode, so here you could see intercalary meristem, or even at the base of leaf, you can see this intercalary meristem. So base of internode, especially in monocot plants, especially in grasses, this intercalary meristem is present. It helps for replacing the body part which has been eaten by herbivorous animals. Whereas this meristem at the leaf base also found in pinus leaves and as well as in monocots like grasses. This is about intercalary meristem. Whereas the third type of meristem based on position is the lateral meristem. As name itself indicate, meristem found lateral to the plant axis. So this lateral meristem it is generally responsible to increase the girth of the plant axis. That means for secondary growth of the plant body. And lateral meristem, it has so many examples, like there are 4 examples: intrafascicular cambium, interfascicular cambium, cork cambium, and vascular cambium of dicot root. But the difference you have to remember, of course, all these 4 are the type of lateral meristem. Intrafascicular cambium is the only lateral meristem which is primary in origin, which is belong to the category of primary meristem when we consider the origin. Right. This is about the classification of meristem based on position. But Haberland, he classified this apical meristem into again 3 different types based on its function, like protoderm, procambium, and ground meristem. As name itself indicate, derma means skin or epidermis. The protoderm gives rise to epidermis of the plant body, whereas procambium, it gives rise to vascular tissue system, vascular tissues like xylem and phloem. Right. And finally the ground meristem, it gives rise to ground tissue. It gives rise to ground tissue. This is how, based on function, Haberland classified the apical meristem into 3 types. And finally, the meristematic tissue can again be classified into 3 types based on plane of cell division. One is mass meristem, second one is plate meristem, and the third one is rib meristem. In case of mass meristem, it shows the division in all planes, and by this mass meristem, it helps in the formation of embryo and during the development of endosperm, and as well as during the development of sporangia, this mass meristem helps. Whereas the second type is plate meristem. Here, the division occur anticlinally. Anticlinally means, for example, if the cells are in this plane, like cells are parallel, the cells which are dividing above this, these cells divide perpendicular to the cells which are underlying it. If the cells underlying this is in parallel plane, these above cells, if they divide perpendicularly, then this division is called anticlinal division. Here, in this type of meristem, anticlinal division occur in 2 planes. So, division in this plane and division in this direction. Right. And this meristem generally responsible for the formation of epidermis and as well as formation of leaf blade. If there is a single layer of plate meristem, if the thickness of plate meristem is single celled, then it gives rise to epidermis. If the thickness of plate meristem is 2 or more than 2 layered, then it gives rise to leaf blade. So, example, it gives rise to epidermis and leaf blade. Right. Next, finally, the third type is the rib meristem. So, rib meristem, it divide only in a single plane, that too in the periclinal plane. For example, these are the cells which are dividing cells. These are the cells which are not dividing. The blue color pen, these are the not dividing cells if you take, and the green colored pen if you take it as a dividing cell. This cell, the division occur in this plane, means parallel to this cell. If it is a cell parallel to this cell, the division occur in this plane, not in this plane. Division occur parallel to the plane of the plant axis. Then that is said to be periclinal division. By periclinal division, it gives rows or columns of cells. And mainly this type of meristem, rib meristem, it gives rise to certain type of tissues like young root, pith, and as well as cortex. This is about the classification of meristem based on different criteria. So in the next lecture, we will discuss about these apical meristems in detail and theories related to the meristematic tissue.